Tonight, the region's first case of coronavirus detected in Whyalla, as thousands of businesses are forced to shut. And Broken Hill Police investigating more reports of children being approached by strangers.
With the latest from around the region, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. The response to the coronavirus crisis has taken a dramatic turn over the weekend. Our local pubs, clubs, churches and gyms have been forced to close by the federal government, putting thousands of people out of a job. The South Australian government will slam the borders shut from 4 p.m. tomorrow, with anyone entering the state after that forced to self-isolate for 14 days. But we start our coverage in Whyalla, which has recorded the region's first case of the disease. Laura Milovanovic has more.
After days of speculation, it was confirmed late yesterday afternoon that COVID-19 had reached our region, with a positive test confirmed. The town was in whispers over the case.
The thing about regional communities is that rumours are spread very quickly, whether they're factual or not.
The news later confirmed the case believed to be related to overseas travel.
They've come back from overseas and have been tested because they fitted that criteria.
The infected person is now in isolation at their home in Whyalla, as SA Health undertake the labouring process of investigating those who have had contact.
The tracking process that goes on, the unit responsible will track down all those people that have been exposed, and testing will occur.
The member for Giles says he hopes this will be a wake-up call for people to take the new measures seriously.
And it also helps to get people to take this seriously. A lot of people are, but it gets other people that might be a bit complacent. It's in your community. We've got to take the steps that have been recommended.
He believes information about the virus should be readily available to the public following the announcement on Sunday.
There's still no written statement there. You have to actually go into an interview where Whyalla gets mentioned. So I think that needs to be addressed.
As the crisis intensifies, Eddie Hughes says transparency will be critical to help keep the public safe and aware of any developments.
Thousands of workers have been axed and dozens of businesses forced to close their doors today, following the government's unprecedented crackdown on non-essential services. Port Lincoln cafes and restaurants now trying to stay afloat by offering takeaway options.
Gyms emptied, restaurants abandoned and casinos and churches with no one in sight. The new norm we're now having to get used to.
It's new to everyone. We don't know what's going to happen.
The government's announcement last night saw the lockdown of pubs, clubs, cinemas and places of worship in the unprecedented move to reduce the spread of the coronavirus outbreak.
So as of today, 12 o'clock, we've had to close the premises.
Hundreds of jobs were axed today, with businesses feeling the financial pinch.
It's really quite frightening for the future and what's going to happen.
Port Lincoln's Beer Garden forced to shut its doors while other small businesses struggle to stay afloat.
We've had to lay off some staff, yes, but we're trying to sort of give them a few hours.
Pizzeria Trieste and Boston Bay Diner, two eateries now offering takeaway and delivery options.
We've got staff that we need to keep employed, so we have to make sure that we try our hardest to stay open for them.
Our menu's that flexible that we can accommodate everyone with the takeaway meals.
It's another hard blow for Marco, whose family are in lockdown in Italy.
They're having a tough time over there, and I think what they did in Europe, they a little bit underestimate what was happening.
Today, dozens of unemployed workers flooded Centrelink to receive benefits.
The fear factor, the unknown, we don't know what to expect.
Across the region, the effects of the lockdown are immediately obvious. The popular Port Lincoln foreshore this afternoon resembled a ghost town, bringing small businesses to their knees.
I don't care if I have to work for nothing, as long as we can keep our doors open.
Small businesses now urging the community to get behind them.
Go to your local people, go to the butcher, just try and support everyone that is small and needs the help at the moment.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Amid other dramatic changes, South Australia's border will close tomorrow afternoon as the Premier moves to turn the state into a fortress. Member for Frome Jeff Brock reassures residents it's a step in the right direction.
A crisis meeting to combat coronavirus. State Cabinet over the weekend deciding to shut down South Australia's borders. From Tuesday afternoon at 4, police will begin monitoring those coming in.
This is no longer something which is optional, it is mandatory. It is the social responsibility of every single person in this state.
12 checkpoints will be lining South Australia. Those returning from interstate will now need to self-isolate for 14 days.
I think this sends a very strong message to anybody considering coming to South Australia that they need to self-isolate. This will essentially, overnight, turn off the tap to the number of people that are coming across our borders.
Airports and train stations will also be monitored, but freight will be allowed to deliver food and other vital goods. Towns siting close to the border like Broken Hill will also have special exemptions.
2 towns on either side of the border have a high level of interaction.
The move, widely supported by the member for Frome, he says it shouldn't directly impact residents.
No, I don't think we should be too worried about the border closure. I think that's an issue that we shouldn't really be concerned about. My concern is the well-being of everybody around us.
He's issued an emotional plea for residents to remain calm, with panic buying still heavily impacting the community.
Frustrated with not being able to get something, but they've taken their frustration out on the staff. And again, please don't do that. That's not very fair. Those staff they're just doing their job, but you've got to be very careful.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
South Australia's emergency services are calling on the public to stop calling 000 unless there's an emergency. They say they're being inundated with calls from the public, wanting information and advice about COVID-19. Police warn the surge is putting lives at risk by redirecting crucial emergency resources. The public is being reminded to only call 000 if you're in an urgent or life-threatening situation. And if you need more information on the virus, please call the national hotline on 1-800-020-080. Information is also available on the SA Health, New South Wales Health and Health Department websites. Links to those are on our Facebook page. Still to come tonight, Broken Hill Police investigating more reports of strangers approaching school students. And fears for regional air services as Rex confirms it'll shut down local operations. Welcome back. To the day's other news now, and Broken Hill Police are investigating more reports of children being lured to vehicles on their way to school. Officers calling on anyone with information to come forward.
A concerning thing to be happening in a country town.
We've had a couple of reports made to us here at Broken Hill about some children being approached by men in cars asking the kids if they want lifts.
Back in February, officers were contacted after 2 girls were allegedly approached by a male on their walk to school in the city's north. The children were 11 and 7-year-old girls who were walking along Buck Street at the time. Police are now investigating another claim of a man approaching kids during their walk to school, which happened last week.
Neither of the 2 cases that we've had reported to us have anything in common. Perhaps in the same sort of area of Broken Hill, but the cars, the description of the men, they're completely different.
A nearby primary school sending this letter to parents informing them of the 2 recent incidents that occurred across 2 days. The first happening on Wednesday on Union Street, the second attempt being made on Morgan Street. Both were reported to police.
If any teachers, principals, anyone wants us to come and talk to the kids about stranger danger and not talking to people and what they need to do in these certain circumstances, we can certainly send some of our police out there.
Officers have increased patrol around the school areas and are continuing to investigate the incidents. Anyone with dashcam, CCTV vision or who witnessed the incident are being asked to contact police. Patrick Ryankey, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A 31-year-old Port Pirie driver will face court after he was detected drink driving. The man was stopped by police on the Ayr Highway at 2 p.m. on Friday. He was breath tested and returned an alleged reading of more than 4 times the legal limit. Police allegedly also finding 2 young occupants of the car not restrained. The car was impounded for 28 days and the driver was charged with drink driving, driving unlicensed, and failing to ensure 2 passengers under 16 were correctly restrained. South Australia's road toll has risen after 2 crashes in our region over the weekend. A 23-year-old New South Wales man was killed after his car rolled near Port Kenny. Police and ambulance crews were called to Piggery Port Kenny Road around 2:30 in the morning. The 23-year-old driver died at the scene. A 22-year-old passenger from Kimber was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Meanwhile, a 92-year-old man from the Eyre Peninsula tragically died on Saturday after crashing into a tree on the Flinders Highway at Elliston. 30 lives have now been lost on SA roads, compared to 26 at the same time last year. Regional travel plans are up in the air today, as airline Regional Express plans to ground all services outside of Queensland if it can't secure a government bailout. The axing set to be felt across the region. Nathan Regter has more.
Rex operates services here in Port Lincoln, Port Augusta and Whyalla. It also connects to Broken Hill, but as of next month, passengers will be forced to find alternative means of travel. The airline announced this morning that it was abandoning its services across all states except Queensland. The company held an emergency board meeting yesterday where the decision was made to ground flights as of April 6, just days before Easter. Rex's deputy chairman, John Sharp, said in a statement that the airline had reached a tipping point with a drop in passenger numbers of up to 80%. It simply wasn't viable to ride out the coronavirus pandemic. But taking aim at the government, he says the decision may be reconsidered if a substantial bailout package can be found. He says the recent $750 million bailout to the airline sector only saw a net gain for Rex of around $1 million. Now, while QantasLink still operates connections to Port Lincoln, towns like Broken Hill could effectively find themselves cut off from air travel. Rex says passengers with flights booked for after April 6 will have to wait till this Friday before they do anything about the booking, but says they won't be eligible for a refund, just a transfer for a later date. When flights will start moving again, however, remains up in the air.
Clare Valley businesses will be counting their losses following multiple large-scale events cancelled in the region. More than 30 cellar doors will be forced to close, while the highly anticipated gourmet weekend in Clare Classic have been axed. Shari Hams has more.
Another week, another 2 Clare Valley events fallen victim to coronavirus. The Clare Gourmet Weekend and Clare Classic now axed. Usually the busiest time of year for Clare, things have been brought to a shuddering halt. Businesses now struck with the devastating impacts of new regulations rolled out to stop the spread of coronavirus. Sellers closing their doors and forced to turn away the tourism that keeps the town afloat. Clare's famous Easter Racing Carnival is also not going ahead. These events bring in thousands of visitors and millions of dollars to the wider region. Now concerns raised on the impacts the changes will have.
In excess of 50 to 60 events being cancelled, not only just this weekend just gone, in future weekends. That is going to be a real issue, a real financial issue for those people because they rely on that.
The member for Frome working closely with the community to help get through the crisis. He says it's important residents remain calm and vigilant.
The Clare Valley in particular, I'll be liaising very closely with my councils. I know that Dr McDonald from the Clare and Wayne Thomas there, they will be talking about that at the moment, going through that.
And with Parliament going ahead this week, he urges anyone with concerns to contact him.
Work together and make certain we come through this, and hopefully at the end of this this journey we'll come out a far better and a more united and hopefully economically viable state.
An interview was organised with Clare Council CEO, who last minute cancelled and declined to comment.
Stay with us. Our region's agriculture industry set for a government funding boost, and how you can safely support local small businesses during the pandemic. There is some more relief for those doing it tough throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. A second stimulus package has been announced, helping small businesses as well as the agriculture industry.
It seems every industry is being affected by the virus. A second package following from last week's $17.6 billion amount has been announced. $66.1 billion will flow through to industry and will include instant asset write-off and backing business investment to help our farmers.
We've got the ability to write off purchases now. It gives the farmers a little bit more flexibility to look for the investment in machinery or technology that they might require.
The RDA Eyre Peninsula CEO says these steps are crucial at this time to keep businesses and regional towns afloat.
It's just so important to keep people employed and cash circulating in our economy, and these sorts of initiatives, are critical to helping achieve that.
However, COVID-19 is having an impact in the agriculture sector.
We've seen slowdown or interruption to supply chain. So where we've had a lot of chemicals and fertilisers imported, particularly from China in recent years, we're starting to see issues arise around supply.
He says our agriculture industry has never been more critical.
Certainly, the ability for us to be able to grow our own food, to be secure in our food supplies, is something that our industry is very good at.
Laura Milovanovic, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A 27-year-old P-plater has been fined almost $2,000 after being caught driving 150 kilometres in a 110 zone. Cleve Police were conducting speed detection duties on the Lincoln Highway last Friday between Cowell and Arno Bay when they detected the Kia sedan just before 3:30 in the afternoon. The Aldinga driver was issued with an on-the-spot fine for speeding and exceeding the allowed speed limit for a P2 licence holder. Police say they will continue to patrol rural and regional areas, including highways, to catch those driving irresponsibly. A 53-year-old Wailanori man has been arrested following the discovery of stolen copper wiring at his home address. Police attended the man's home last Wednesday around midday to conduct a search after receiving public information regarding the whereabouts of the stolen copper. He was charged with unlawful possession and bailed to appear in court on the 22nd of April. Anyone with information on copper theft should contact Crime Stoppers. Broken Hill businesses are urging shoppers to keep up the local spending as coronavirus fear spreads. With Silver City stores still open for the time being, operators are hoping their vital income does not dry up.
Even as the world's pubs, clubs and gyms all close, local small businesses still have their doors open.
We're still open, we're still here, we will stay open as long as we can. Obviously government restrictions will advise on what we need to do there.
The first quarter of the year can already be a dry time for local businesses. Add to it the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and Silver City operators face a tough 6 months ahead. The message from stores and shops before looking online: visit your local outlets first.
Let's just try and boost morale a little bit in town. Everyone's feeling a little bit down and out. Everyone's got it pretty tough, but we're all in this together. So if we can get together and help each other out, it will be best for Broken Hill.
Local cafes like the Gourmet Crib Tin have been forced to adapt due to the new restrictions. Patrons no longer able to dine in, locals will still be able to get deliveries and takeaways.
Majority of our clientele is takeaway. We have a cabinet that's full of takeaway stuff, so we've always been that way. So really, the coronavirus hasn't affected us that much.
Local businesses needing advice to deal with the coronavirus pandemic are urged to visit the Far West New South Wales BEC Facebook page.
A lot of the business bailout packages don't come into effect until after the end of April, so now is the time for support. If you can support a local business, we will try and stay open as long as possible.
Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. We meet a group of cyclists helping raise vital funds. And Alex Sykes will have the latest weather details. Hello again. A group of Broken Hill cyclists took to the road on Saturday, riding for a good cause. The team was supposed to ride in the Revolve 24 event, an endurance cycling challenge in Adelaide, but it was cancelled due to the coronavirus. Instead, the squad rode from Broken Hill to Menindee and back, a tough trek of 210 kilometres, all to raise money for type 1 diabetes research.
The generous people of Broken Hill, we've raised $33,000. So that amount is just incredible. It's blowing my mind, and it's just unbelievable, that amount of money. And
the riders pulled up a bit stiff, but it was nothing a beer couldn't fix. Great stuff, guys. To the weather, and a few showers are set to cross the region tomorrow, but we're heading for a sunny end to the week. Here's Alex Sykes with the details.
Good evening, everyone. It was a mostly fine day across the region. Port Augusta reached 25 degrees, Port Pirie 24, a shower in 22 in Whyalla, Broken Hill 29, Port Lincoln 21 degrees, and it was partly cloudy, and 23 in Adelaide. There's a band of cloud drifting over southern and western parts of South Australia, bringing some showers. Skies clearer over northern and eastern areas under a high pressure system. On the waters tomorrow, east to southeast winds 10 to 15 knots, seas reaching 1 to 1.5 metres, and the sun will rise at 7:21 with sunset at 7:21. A mixed bag tomorrow with showers in northern parts. Port Augusta and Quorn both expecting showers and 25 degrees, Whyalla 21, Port Lincoln partly cloudy and 22, showers and 23 forecast for Woodner, Broken Hill, Kadina and Coffin Bay also all reaching 23, Port Pirie cloudy and 22, Clare reaching 19 degrees, Cleve 21 and Adelaide partly cloudy and 23. Looking ahead to the next 4 days, Port Lincoln partly cloudy and 21 Wednesday, 23 Thursday, sunny and 27 Friday, sunny in Cleve through until Friday, 20 Wednesday, 24 Thursday, 28 Friday, and Woodner will be sunny and 26 Wednesday, 27 Thursday, warming up to 30 degrees on Friday. Clearing conditions in Whyalla, 23 Wednesday, 25 Thursday, 27 Friday, 25 and sunny in Port Augusta on Wednesday, 27 Thursday, sunny and 29 Friday, and mild and sunny conditions in Kadina, 24 Wednesday, 26 Thursday, 27 Friday. Port Pirie will reach 26 on Wednesday and Thursday, sunny and 28 on Friday. A bit cooler in Clare with tops of 22 Wednesday, 23 Thursday, expecting 26 degrees on Friday. And finally in Broken Hill, it'll be partly cloudy and 24 Wednesday, sunny and 24 Thursday, 27 on Friday. That's all for now. John, it's back to you.
Thanks, Alex. And that's the local news this Monday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, but until then, enjoy your evening. On behalf of the team, it's good night.